Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News. This show that's back for another week. Let's do this thing. Today in the news, man, I leave for one weekend, and suddenly there's just a ton of gaming news. First, remember how Unity was being offered $17 billion for a merger with AppLovin? Well, Unity flat out rejected the offer. Instead, Unity's gonna go ahead and join with IronSource, another company that monetizes apps. So really, it's kind of the same thing, but just a different company. Then we got news that Multiverses, the totally insane platform fighter, is getting even more insane because players notice that 2 new characters are being added. Black Adam is cool, but Spike from Gremlins? Sure, companies gobbling up IP in the sake of corporate ownership of everything we know and love is the absolute worst. But also, a Gremlin and Pickle Rick can now fight LeBron and Arya Stark, so you know, if we're gonna live in a corporate hellscape, I guess this is the one for me. We also got an update on Microsoft's purchase of Activision Blizzard and their defense against Sony's claim that owning Call of Duty would dominate the FPS market and it would make it unfair to other consoles and companies. Well, Microsoft fired back by once again repeatedly shitting all over itself. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Regardless of how unsurprising Sony's criticism of content exclusivity is, given that PlayStation's entire strategy has been centered on exclusivity over the years, the reality is that the strategy of retaining Activision Blizzard's games by not distributing them on rival console shops would simply not be profitable for Microsoft, the company claims. Such a strategy would be profitable only if Activision Blizzard's games were able to attract a sufficiently large number of gamers to the Xbox console ecosystem, and if Microsoft could earn enough revenue from game sales to offset the losses from not distributing such games on rival consoles, it adds. Then they lay out the biggest defense, and it is the juiciest bit of info of all. Turns out they just showed some numbers as well. According to court documents, Microsoft says that Xbox One sold half as many consoles as PS4. Something people have been curious about for a while now, assuming, yeah, PS4 sold more than Xbox One, but now we have some numbers. Xbox sold 58 million consoles, while Sony sold 117 million. So while Xbox wasn't really upfront and public with all that information, and we just assumed they got beat during that generation, it looks like now Sony really stomped them. So again, it seems crazy to me that Microsoft's plan here is to convince governments around the world to let this acquisition happen because Microsoft kind of sucks. And they even said, like, Activision Blizzard, they don't even make that great games. It's so bizarre, but I actually think it's going to work. This definitely is going to happen, and it's just like a weird strategy. I understand why they're doing it, but it's just so bizarre. Speaking of Activision Blizzard, while I was away over the weekend, my Twitter feed, all of my social media was filled with people just losing their minds about Diablo IV. I got back and I was like, oh boy, here we go. Apparently, Activision Blizzard sent out a survey, which they just gotta stop doing. Every time they do, 1 or 2 questions get picked out of the whole thing, and then everyone loses their damn mind. And I don't know why they haven't stopped doing this. Anyway, I guess this time it was some sort of German language pricing survey, and I guess they wanted to better understand gamer preferences. And a lot of people are saying this is legit because it lines up with something that they sent out in Korea last month. It includes asking your thoughts on offerings of cosmetic changes to characters, back ornaments, mounts, possible premium rewards, and the one I think really set people off the most, which is an in-game currency called Platinum. Now, we've already had a lot of leaks on what this game is and what maybe Blizzard wants it to be. It only leads to like really outraged YouTube videos and TikToks and whatever, and it's the same thing every time. For some reason, and I don't know, please enlighten me in the comments, but it always feels like very specific to the Blizzard community and the fandom there, but there is a pattern. It happens all the time, where before a new Blizzard game, be it Warcraft or now Diablo, comes out, there's outrage. So much outrage. And people are looking for things to get angry at all the time. And then the game comes out, the outrage vanishes for like a week or 2, and people are suddenly in love with it. And then the outrage cycle machine begins again, and it's the same thing every time. I don't know. It's a community that I was a part of for a long time, so I saw it there a lot. And look, if you want to be outraged at Activision Blizzard, great. Be like me, stop playing their games. I don't know, I just feel like it's weird to see people who are like, I have never been more mad at Activision Blizzard. Can't wait for launch day. Right? I don't know. I've always thought that was very strange, and so I still think it is. Anyway, it's Monday, so that means it's time for your releases. On Wednesday, our perfect little round cutie pie Kirby returns for a smorgasbord of fun that you can play with your friends online. If you enjoyed Fall Guys but thought, this could be more Hungry Hungry Hippos, this is the game for you. Race your friends, play silly games, and become the biggest, roundest, bestest boy you can. On Thursday, check out something totally different with We Are OFK, the biopic and kinda interactive album about living in, dreaming in, and making your way through Los Angeles as someone way cooler than me. Explore the world of music from the bottom and see what it takes to get to the top. I'm sure it won't be emotionally draining in any way. Speaking of not emotionally draining, boy, that's a weird one. Patreon.com/Jesse Cox, where you can join Carrie Webb, Jonathan Huang, and Ethan Jackson. That's it for the show. Thanks so much. I'll see y'all tomorrow for another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News.